I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of the Sim Racers Club are going to take on North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Myasthenia Gravis Awareness 175 presented by John Moeller. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth as always by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And Bizzle, we're going to do this part real quickly because we do want to talk to John Moeller here before the show, but North Wilkesboro in the Cup cars, we saw it in the NASCAR All-Star race. I think it's going to put on a pretty darn good show for us here tonight as well.
Yeah, especially with the huge overhaul that oval racing and dynamic track in general on iRacing has gotten. I have a feeling we're going to see maybe 2-groove racing, hopefully 3-groove racing, and maybe the grip level moving around on the track as marbles start getting kicked up. They're going to work a little more dynamically than they used to.
Yeah, I think there's a whole lot that's going to come into play here around the North Wilkesboro Speedway. I guess, almost 7/8 of a mile, 13 degrees of banking in the corners. We know the story. It runs uphill, it runs downhill. Track record time, 18.785 seconds, set in 2022 in a CRA Super Late Model race by Justin Kreider. Quick time in practice right now, just under that track record. Kevin Dick, 18.724 seconds. I think we're going to see a really interesting race here tonight, especially when we start to look at some of the things like where the stage breaks are going to fall. This is a 175 lap race with stages at lap 40 and lap 90 and only 2 sets of tires to go the distance. We're going to see some strategy games played here, especially if stage break caution falls at lap 90.
Yeah, I definitely could see some strategy games being played. I expect the usual contenders, the WWR guys, them to split up, with Johnny Avila sticking in the front the whole race and AJ Digby and friends kind of saving a bunch of fuel, trying to make it to that fuel stop, and maybe save the tires in the car too.
Yeah, I think there's a whole lot that's going to go on here tonight. It's going to be interesting, that is for sure. Just waiting to see Mr. John Moeller pop up into the broadcast, the waiting room, I guess you would say, for us to get him on the air here with us. And I'm just pulling up the message that I got from Sam Maxwell today with John as the presenting sponsor for tonight's race. Myasthenia gravis, June is the awareness month for it. It's a neuromuscular junction disease that leads to varying degrees of skeletal muscle weakness. So basically it affects the muscles in the eyes, the face, swallowing, causes double vision, drooping eyelids, trouble talking, all that kind of stuff. The word that we have here from Sam is talking about John's mother has endured this for many years and she's still fighting. She loves racing and watching the SRC races. Hello, Mrs. Moeller. If you're watching tonight, a lot of love to you. I hope you're going to enjoy the show. And actually, John, we can hopefully pull the focus camera up on him. There you go. He has the awareness ribbons on the hood and the rear quarter panel of that Black Clover number 83 Chevrolet Camaro. And he is all tealed up in the awareness colors as well. Very, very cool thing that John is doing to raise awareness tonight. We thank him for his support of the series and, quite frankly, using the broadcast platform here as a way to talk. I guess if he's heading out on pit road, he will not be coming up to the booth with us here. We'll see. But down to 4.5 minutes left in practice, and we saw 1 week ago at Darlington, the Kevin Dick versus Johnny Avila show kicked in, and let's see, pulling up the point standings following last week. I think this is going to be a little bit closer than we think of a season. Johnny Avila getting caught up in a couple of incidents. Kevin Dick sitting on 54 points, picking up the race win, picking up a pile of stage points. Jeff Yanish actually sitting second in points, Braden Carroll third. Carroll had a good run in terms of the stage points 1 week ago as well. We're really going to see this, Patrick. You can't throw away tonight lap 40 and lap 90. You just have to run at the front on those laps.
Yeah, there's no way around it. Johnny Avila, as always, fantastic at finishing the races, but needs to dial in on those stage points. Otherwise, he's not going to win this championship, and he's going to let Kevin Dick sneak by with another one. It's not like those Road to Pro races. I'd like to extend a huge congratulations, Johnny, making it to round number 2 of the Road to Pro, but this ain't that. This is SRC, and you got to capitalize on those stage points if you want to win this one, too.
Yeah, I think that is a huge talking point the rest of this season, and I don't want to go full Rick Allen too early on things, but you kind of can't ignore the fact that the stage points are going to matter a ton here. And when you start to look at some of these races, next week we have Charlotte. That's a 200-lap race with stages at lap 30 and lap 65. It's early in that race. You have to run at the front. Same thing when we head to Gateway, 30 and 65. Daytona, an 80-lap race. The stages are at lap 17 and lap 38. Ordinarily, you might think Daytona, you could run at the back a little bit and be there at the end of the show. It's just not the case in the Sim Racers Club. You have to be there at lap 17 and lap 38 or wherever the stage breaks happen to fall. And there's really no way to hide from it. If you want to contend for a championship, you got to be good the entire time.
Yeah, and that's the whole purpose of the stages. And I'm glad they're so important here. They're not as meaningless as they might be in the real world. They still matter a ton, but they definitely matter more here at SRC. So you really have to focus on staying in front the entire race. You can't just waltz your way around, keep yourself on the lead lap, and then at the end of the race go and win it. You have to be there in the fight the entire time.
Taking a look at some of the numbers in practice here, Kevin Dick is on pit lane, Johnny Avila, Braden Carroll, Tyler Seville, and Joshua Salsi, the top 5, I believe, all on pit lane at the moment. But these guys have been running stints. Kevin Dick, 2, 5, and 0. Johnny Avila just getting back onto the racetrack now with about a minute or so left in practice. We'll pick up the 63, and his last stints, 7, 5, and 0. These guys have not put a ton of laps on the tires here. That's something that could come back to bite them a little bit, because with the nature of the fixed setup and the way you have to drive North Wilkesboro, you go down the front stretch, the car kind of wants to get oversteering on corner entry. It wants to be tight going uphill. There's a lot that goes on that the drivers have to deal with here, and you need some long run experience.
It's not only that. These cars, this past Tuesday, yesterday, they got a huge update to the short track racing, huge update to the dynamic track, the way the marbles move around the track, the way the sunlight affects the grip all over the track. They had a huge update to the tires on these cars. They changed the aero package. It's not like he's getting into a familiar car and it's just one thing changed. It's like getting a brand new car and trying to figure out how to drive it in the race. Yeah. I just don't know if you're going to be able to do it without all that practice. You can see him trying to go through all different lines, getting the car a little bit squirrely, and definitely feels a little bit different to him.
Yeah, I think I don't know that we can understate the changes that came on Tuesday. It sounds like it has affected grip levels of every car on the platform. on every type of racetrack. That's something new, to the point we were discussing in the pre-race. Do you consider abandoning tonight's race and pushing the schedule back by a week entirely? Because this is so new to everybody. This could really cause some problems here tonight.
No, I think it'll be fun. None of these guys are new to iRacing or new to racing in general, so I think we might have a couple early cautions, but I don't think they're going to have any trouble getting a handle on the car over the course of a full race.
Well, we will find that out soon, but first we got to find out who will sit on the pole position for tonight's race. As Andrew Mraz is the first driver to set a lap. He goes quick time at an 18.966 second lap. Tyler Seville going to be second quick, 19.322 for his first lap on the board. Johnny Avila, unconventional, way high line through 3 and 4. Maybe trying to get a little bit of heat in the tires, but he's going to run high through 1 and 2 as well. Avila going to be fourth quick at a 19.792 as Andrew Mraz goes quick time, 18.899 seconds. Tyler Seville up to second. Jeff Yenish now holding on to third. Quentin Clark moves top of the board at an 18.888. Johnny Avila's second lap, even faster, 18.785. 1878 with a 5 for Johnny Avila. Pick up Andrew Moore Jr., who is out on the racetrack. He has just taken the green flag for his qualification run. Good lap there for Quentin Clark as well. Only 66 thousandths of a second back. I am floored at the line. We're seeing these guys run through 3 and 4. It's obviously they found something in how these racetracks are gripping up. Andrew Moore Jr., 8th quick, 19.342. Colton Harvey's going to slot into position number 10 on lap number 1. Still about half of tonight's field to get out onto the grid. Lap number 2 for Andrew Moore Jr., second quick, 18.825.
One thing to note is this is a recreation of the track the way it was in the late 80s. This is not the modern circuit that they ran for the All-Star race. There's no fresh concrete all the way down there at the bottom that you can get the left sides on and get some extra grip. This is this track as it was in, I believe, 87 is what the scan is supposed to represent. So real old beat-up asphalt and really no grip strips laid out around the track.
No, and like we said, these guys have found something in the way these tires are gripping up. Troy Haight, lap number 1, 19.272, going to be good enough for 9th quick. Lap number 2 for Troy Haight, 7th quick, 19.057. Just trying to converse quickly here with John Moeller so we can get him in for an interview. We'll pick up AJ Digby off of turn number 4. He will see the green flag with just under 6 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. 13 of the 19 cars entered in tonight's race have taken time. Ooh, that car was way squirrely off at turn number 2. See what Digby's going to be able to do here on lap number 1, 20.955. That is 14th and slowest. Now, let's see what Digby's going to be able to do here on lap number 2 as he comes off of the final corner. Oh, and he puts it in the fence. Lap number 2 does not score. Digby will roll off no better than 14th. Now, it's a pleasure to have in the booth with us Mr. John Moeller. We'll do our interview now here, brother. And first, thank you very much for supporting the SRC race tonight here, the Myasthenia Gravis 175. tell us a little bit about your family's experience with this and what it is, quite frankly. Teach our viewers a little bit. Are you able to hear us, John? Or maybe you're on push to talk, possibly. Oh, okay. Well, it looks like we lost John there, but this is the Myasthenia Gravis 175, a Myasthenia Gravis Awareness 175, presented by John Moeller here from North Wilkesboro Speedway.
I wasn't here with iRacing when you guys started it, but I've been here a while, and that's certainly been the busiest in terms of any length of time, right? I mean, we always have busy times.
Now down inside of 4 minutes remaining in qualifications. Richard Smith II is out on the racetrack.
You know, I love how they put the artwork in for the four marshals standing at the scoreboard. I'm almost curious if during the race you'll actually see them flipping the signs.
That would be awesome. The old school hand updated signs. Richard Smith's first lap will be 19.533 seconds. Good enough for 13th quick.
If you want to talk about a dream job, I would love to just stand up there and start changing the numbers around.
Absolutely. Lap number 2 for Richard Smith does not score. So he will be 13th quick. Still waiting on J.D. Wardlow, Kevin Dick, Dean Gagliano, and Joshua Salsi to get out onto the racetrack. Let's take a look here. The 52 of your defending champion and points leader heading out onto the racing surface with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. I can remember at one time on iRacing, you would sometimes, depending on the weather conditions, wait out to the end of qualifying to try to optimize track temperatures a little bit. I don't think that's the case tonight. Partly cloudy skies, 78-degree ambient, 126-degree track temperature. That is baking hot. That might be the hottest we've ever seen. I know we did an Ezra race at Sonoma that was at like 125. I think 126 might be the hottest we've ever seen a racetrack.
Did we look at the track temperature when we were at Darlington? Because I know Darlington gets pretty hot too.
Yeah, not that I remember looking at. So lap number 1 being scored right now for Mr. Kevin Dick off of turn number 2. He's running a little bit more conventional of a line through 3 and 4. We'll see if he found something down there at the bottom. Lap number 1 will be 7th quick, 19:046. I'm sorry, actually, that was lap number 2. 19:046, good enough for 7th quick. We'll pick up Dean Gagliano in the 33. He's going to be 11th quick after lap number 1, 19:122. Pretty slick looking Valvoline, number 33 there. Let's take a look here and let's see if we can bring John Moeller back up into the booth with us. John, are you able to hear us? Let's see. Looks like John may not be able to hear us, or at least he does not have the ability to talk with us here. So we'll try to get the technical difficulties with John worked out here, but down to 35 seconds left in qualifying. Joshua Salsi working lap number 1. He is over the line in lap number 1. 7th quick, good lap, 18.973 seconds. 18.97 with a 3. Oh, and he kissed the outside wall. That will be the end of the qualification run for Joshua Salsi. J.D. Wardlow will not get a lap in here in qualifications. So he will start shotgun on the field here this evening. there is your top 10 in Sim Speed Shop Premier Series qualifying. And as everybody now getting out onto the starting grid, we will get ready to show you tonight's starting lineup. On the pole, the GM Goodwrench Service Plus, number 63 Chevrolet Camaro, will be the multi-time champ, Johnny Avila. Lining up alongside in the Weiss Markets, number 77 Ford Mustang, Andrew Moore Jr. Row 2, the Wolfelt, number 42 of Quentin Clark. Lining up alongside the Sim Coaches, number 45 of Andrew Mraz. Lining up on row number 3, the Chubbies, number 11 of Tyler Seville, alongside the Rouse Homemade Sauces, number 89 Ford Mustang of Jeff Yanish. Row number 4, the Exalta Superman, number 81 of Joshua Salsi, alongside the Custom Paints and Diecast, number 52 of Kevin Dick. Troy Hay, the Woodfather, number 28 Chevrolet Camaro, alongside the XPE, number 58 of Colton Harvey. That Chevrolet Camaro, pair of Chevrolet Camaros, occupying row number 5. Row 6 will have the Hunter's Fried Pickles, number 7 of Hunter Waters, alongside the Valvoline, number 33 of Dean Gagliano. Row number 7, U.S. Air Force, number 43 of Richard Fletcher, alongside the Mountain Dew Zero Sugar, number 4 of Lee Campbell. Row 8, the TeamZSS.com Chevrolet Camaro, number 24, belonging to Brady Carroll, lining up alongside the Toyota Camry, number 23 of Richard Smith II. Row 9, that Black Clover, number 83 of John Moeller, the Chevrolet Camaro, alongside another Chevrolet belonging to the UMU Esports, number 14 of Will Worsler Racing's AJ Digby. I almost said Watson Racing. On the final row will be the unsponsored number 48 of J.D. Wardlow, another of the Toyota Camrys here in tonight's race. It actually looks like J.D. will not make the grid here. 18 cars out on the racetrack getting ready for the start here tonight. Field off the final quarter. Green flags in the air. We are underway here at North Wilkesboro. Myasthenia Gravis Awareness 175 is underway, and Johnny Avila is going to lead the field off at turn number 2. First battle we're going to see here will be, I think, about for the 4th position. That's going to be Quentin Clark alongside of Jeff Yenish.
Guys, you're still seeing a little bit of two-wide racing here. I don't know if I can say one line has an advantage over the other one just yet.
It's interesting that what we saw in tail end of practice qualifying, that real high lane through 3 and 4, and even a high lane, fairly high lane through 1 and 2, that's not what we're seeing here in the race. So it's almost like you're going to get more outright speed up against the wall. But if you want to save the tires, you're going to have to slow it down and run the inside of the racetrack.
Yeah, that's been the philosophy for the last couple of tire updates on iRacing, especially at the short tracks, is we're under caution.
Yellow flag is out. Caution on the speedway for the first time here tonight, and it will be Richard Smith II, it looks like, having an issue. We'll take a look here and see. We can tell what happened to the 23. Little bit loose, little bit of nose into the outside wall. With the traffic coming behind them, that will bring out the first caution of tonight's race.
You know, he ended up pretty okay after that, though. I mean, wasn't really that hard of a hit. Kind of just kissed the wall, and hopefully he'll be able to run his way back up to the field.
Yeah, just a little kiss. Looks like, let's see, one car heading on to pit lane. That's going to be Richard Fletcher. I have the word here from race control. Stage 1 at lap 40, stage 2 at lap 90. No caution flags will be displayed for the brakes here tonight. That really throws the strategy game kind of wide open here, Bizzle, because if you know you don't have that freebie opportunity to come down pit lane, you almost have to start working the math backwards now. You need somebody like an AJ Digby that's going to have the calculators and spreadsheets and everything else that he does while he's driving, calculating out the optimum time to stop for fuel versus tires.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Digby already has those numbers done. Already knows it, kind of planned out 3 strategies depending on where the stage cautions are going to be, and he knows when he's going to pit. It's just a matter of, do his teammates know yet? And is the rest of the field going to figure it out?
Yeah, a great point. Field already doubling. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've run with WWR guys, and it's all really funny how we communicate in there. Because you're just driving along, you notice the fuel's starting to get a little low, and you go, hey, AJ, when are we going to pit?
Yeah, when are we going to pit? Like it is an entire thing here. Off of the final quarter, green flag back in the air. Hey, Johnny Avila very quickly back to the race lead. Andrew Mraz starting on the outside of row 1. He's going to be able to hold on to second. May even get a run at Avila off of 2. Looks like he will settle in. A little bit of a different line. Oh, he's a little squirrely off at 4. Mraz able to hold on to it, but here comes Andrew Moore Jr. looking up to the outside. Before we get too deep into things, got to make sure we say the big thank yous to all of the sponsors of the Sim Racers Club. Northland Leisure Products, putting up the awards for the stage race this season. Custom paints and die casts, putting up seasonal and grand champion prize sponsors. Also, Realty Executive Saskatoon, the sponsors of the Most Laps Led, Hard Charger, and Most Positions Lost prizes. And as always, Sim Speed Shop, Series entitlement sponsor with Series Champion and Grand Champion prizes, along with Safe Driver Drawing prizes and those big championship prizes going out for the top 2. Thank you very much to all of the sponsors of the Sim Speed Shop Beer Series. Top 2 we're starting to break away, and caution flies on the speedway for the second time here in 14 laps. Let's take a look and see. Looks like possibly an issue for Dean Gagliardo in the 33. Man, that bump off at turn 4 is eating cars up tonight. It's not a big one, but it is just enough to get you unsettled and looped around.
Yeah, especially with how stiff the suspensions on these cars are. When they ran this track back in the 80s, the spring rates were maybe 600 pounds of force to compress it an inch. Now they're running 2,600 to 3,300 pounds to compress it an inch. So it's like the old cars were like driving a Cadillac. These new things are like driving a Ferrari, and they really do not like those bumps.
Yeah, Tony Uri Jr., when he was on the Dale Jr. download, talked about when they figured out coil binding. He was on the 15 team at the time. Tony Uri Sr., his dad, was crew chiefing Dale Jr.'s car, and Jr. was just running like absolute crap everywhere they went. Mikey was running well at the time, and they were in this, I mean, monster brouhaha, because Tony Uri Jr. was giving nobody the secret to coil binding. And he says, Senior says, I'm just taking your springs. And he just took them. He says, well, that's great, but you can't do anything with them. The way the setup philosophy changed over the, I mean, it was literally half a season. Right when that happened, Dale Jr. started running well when the team finally started sharing information. And Jr. said something about Magic Springs in an interview and basically sold the farm to the news media on it. And everybody went,
man.
whoa, wait a minute. Okay, at least we know what they're playing with now. And then they, this was the time, the development of the 7-post shaker rigs and all that kind of stuff. And very quickly, the way these cars are set up, I mean, it changed almost overnight because they had to ask engineers how the cars work. That was when the engineers really took over, and it's kind of been off to the races from there.
Yeah, it was no longer, just a bunch of hobbyists that just were playing with race cars and throwing crap at the wall and seeing what stuck. It was now science. It's incredible how quickly the sport developed in the early 2000s.
Well, field goes back under the green flag here, working lap number 19, 157 laps to go here at North Wilkesboro. And a battle for the lead. Andrew Mraz looking inside of Johnny Avila. Avila going to get way up towards the top side of the racetrack, about halfway up.
But Avila's going to have to run in the one.
Yeah, Mraz is going to lead the lap, but Avila carries a ton of speed down the hill into one.
And you can really lay into turn number 3 really, really hard. He's going to lose it there, but going uphill down that back stretch, I think we got to spin.
Around. Jeff Yenish went around on the front straightaway. We stay green. Man, that turn 4 is going to absolutely bite these guys tonight. Let's take a look at the replay. See what happened to the 89. Same deal, a little bit too much on throttle. Little kiss off the inside wall. But he didn't get the car backwards, so we will stay under green flag conditions. Top 3 starting to break away. Andrew Moore Jr. also breaking away from Quentin Clark and Tyler Seville. Already past the halfway point here of stage number 1. Gotta say thank you to everybody that's tuned in on YouTube and on Twitch. Give us a shout in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from, as we are under caution once again, and possibly John Moeller may have gotten a piece of this one. Let's take a look. He scraped the wall exiting turn number 2. Oh, Punterino in 3. That one coming off the front of the 23 of Richard Smith II. That's going to put us under the caution flag for the 3rd time here tonight.
Step away for 30 seconds, and they're under caution again. You got to run me down what happens.
Well, we had a case of the Punterinos in turn number 3 here. We'll wind it back and we'll let Bizzle play referee here on this one. Well, already under caution there. Let's take a look. Let's try this one again. Yeah, that one doesn't. Yeah, the replay doesn't want to be nice to us anymore. So
Well, I'm seeing the judgment from race control, and they're saying the 23 is getting an EOL for that one. So without seeing the replay, I'm just going to say the 23 was at fault.
yes, there is the penalty from race control. End of line penalty for avoidable contact on the 23 of Richard Smith II. Andrew Mraz leading laps for the first time here this evening. Now let's here gonna there we go. He has led 10 laps here this evening. Field is doubled up and ready to go back to green flag racing. Johnny Avila may have the preferred line on the outside, but man, Mraz gets a great getaway off in turn number 4. Avila gonna have to try to hold off the pie-eyed racing teammates of Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore Jr.
Avila dives it hard into turn number 1 and loses the spot. Well, I guess he never had the spot to begin with, but let Andrew Mraz get a little bit of a gap there going into turn 3.
Avila looking inside of Mraz into 3. See if he's going to be able to pick up the lead off of 4. He does not. Big wiggle down the front straightaway for Avila. Oh, he almost makes contact with Mraz in 1 and 2. Little bit of a wiggle from Mraz, but I think it might have been neck code because I think I saw daylight there. But Avila knows he's got to play the stage points game. Lap number 33 is on the board. 8 laps left to go here in stage number 1. Here's where things get dicey because you want to fight for the stage points, but North Wilkesboro is still hard on tires. You don't want to burn those good years up fighting too hard for what amounts to 1 point. Oh, there's contact! Mraz into the wall!
Oh, they stay green though. He kept that car in one piece. A couple little dented pieces on there, but it's all still together.
Yeah, more than a couple of dented pieces. You can see the whole right side, right in front of that car, is caved in as he heads down the backstretch. Don't see too much damage on the right rear of the car, but definitely a big hit on the right front for Andrew Mraz. And nice fight back here between Thomas Seville and Colton Harvey. This going on just behind Andrew Moore Jr. Battle for position number 5 as lap 36 is up on the board. Now we're to this point in the stage where if the caution were to fly, it would end the stage at that point. Oh man, Harvey maybe with a little scrape of the wall. Hunter Waters may have gotten a little piece of the wall towards the back of the pack as well. The other thing about this, Patrick, is you mentioned this being the 1986-87 era scan of North Wilkesboro. No safer barriers around this racetrack. They're hitting concrete, not the steel box tubing that comprises that outer layer of safer barrier.
Yeah, so when you hit these walls, it's not like what these cars are used to where the wall gives a little bit and the car's usually okay. No, this concrete is like hitting the concrete wall. It hurts. And I know you don't feel it in your sim rig. You know, your ribs aren't going to be sore when you get out of the car and wake up the next morning. But that car is going to be a lot more beat up than you'd expect from a normal crash with these things.
Oh my goodness.
Hitting a concrete wall feels like hitting a concrete wall. Might be the best joke I've ever made on airwaves.
It might be. That is one of the dumber things we've heard said. It works, though. We'll give you the credit here. Stage number 1 is in the books, and it will belong to Johnny Avila, picking up the first Northland Leisure stage win of the evening. To try to back it up. Thank you. FRS Drake checked into the comments. Turns out concrete is in fact concrete.
Yes.
Holy crap, this is going to be a night. Let's look a little bit further back. Oh, trouble for Braden Carroll. That car's around, and we are under caution. 24 machine going around. That's kind of like right at the exit, almost the middle to the exit of turn number 4. Let's take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay so we can see what happened to the 24. Oh, maybe some contact. Might have to look at that one again from the overhead. Let's take a look from the chopper cam. The NRN drone over the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Oh, buddy, yeah, there was contact with the 42 of Quentin Clark. That will put us under caution once again, and likely an EOL penalty coming for car number 42 as well.
FRS Drake saying, blame it on the pollution. Yeah, that's what I'll blame it on.
Yes.
No air pollution here in 1987, though.
No, but pretty sunny skies out here at North Wilkesboro Speedway today. However, for those of us in the Northeast United States, it looked like twilight all day today. Sun high in the sky, and it was orange twilight all afternoon.
Supposedly, it was a sunny day today, but I couldn't see. I was driving down the highway right past our local nuclear power plant, and you can normally see this thing. It's right on the side of the highway. I could not see the power plant. I just had to step away for a minute, smelt smoke in the house, just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to burn down. It's just a window open. And I went and looked outside. I can't see the street lights that are across the street from my house, so it's a little bit rough out there.
Yeah. I would imagine air traffic and everything else is going to be mess here. Field coming off at turn number 4. They will see the green flag this time, and it's going to be a couple of Will Worsler cars on the front row. Great restart for Johnny Avila. Tyler Seville trying to hold off Kevin Dick. Dick able to come around Seville. Moore trying to hold off A.J. Digby. Colton Harvey's going to be there as well. We do have the update from race control. Car 42 EOL penalty for avoiding contact. Man alive, we have got some hornet's nest stuff going on here. Oh, we are under caution once again. Let's take a look. Let's try to see who may have been involved here. Don't see anything on scoring is who it may have been that was slow. Oh, well, maybe. Okay, let's take a look here and see if it was possibly Andrew Mraz in car number 45. Oh, wiggle, a twitch. Nowhere for Richard Smith II to go that time. And Mraz backs it up driver's side into the turn 1 retaining wall. That will put us under the caution for, I believe, the fourth time, fifth time here this evening. Now, I don't want to say we're going to come close to this, but there is a session time limit here. 1 hour, 27 minutes, 35 seconds is left on the clock. Obviously, still a long way to go in terms of both time, but a lot of laps to go as well. Still 122 remaining. 123, actually, still remaining as we circulate here under the caution flag. I would imagine this sort of makes the decision on pit strategy a little bit easier to make, Bizzle, because you're running so many laps under caution, you're not heating up the tires, you're not burning up the fuel. Possibly getting close to making this a one-stop race?
You might be. Especially if that time limit does come into effect. These cars, under full race conditions, get about 3 miles per gallon. But sitting here just cruising around idling, they get maybe a 7 or 8 miles per gallon. It's a little over double. Which, if you drive a Prius, that sounds abysmal. But for someone who daily drives V8 pieces of crap from the 80s, that don't sound half bad to me.
Yes, the 1980 hunk of crap Thunderbird is apparently running again.
No, it quit running again. I bought more parts today. And that's only a 4-cylinder.
That's beautiful. Yes, the first of the Turbo 4s from Ford. As the green flag goes back in the air, Avila going to hold on to the race lead. Tyler Seville.
Actually,
Oh, go ahead. Correct me.
it's the last of the Turbo 4s by Ford. Until,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, until, like, modern day.
Oh, buddy. How about 3 wide back in the pack, middle of 3 and 4? This has kind of been the hot spot for the action tonight. We'll keep the look back here a little bit. Things are going on at the front of the field as well. Colton Harvey, AJ Digby side by side. That's the battle for the 5th position. Joshua Sousey wants a piece. And Digby looked like he had the momentum, and then the car just starts to twitch loose. Let's go on board with AJ Digby. Keep an eye on his hands through the corners, especially exiting turn number 4. Looks pretty stable there. Maybe a little bit of a kiss off the wall.
Well, that's the benefit of the wall, because if you hit it in the straight parts, it helps the car go straight as long as you hit it squarely with the side.
Yeah, it can almost straighten you out a little bit and kind of push it away.
Yeah, and as long as you don't smack the wall, you're actually not hitting it. It's like a small little air gap that you're compressing the air, and it almost acts as a spring that you can kind of bounce off the wall with. It takes a lot more laps than I have under my belt to master that, but I know a bunch of drivers who have, and it's really awesome watching them do it, and they come millimeters from the wall, and it's almost like a spring that pushes them back out.
Yeah, the other thing about turn 4 here, and I think it might be some of the reason that we're seeing drivers having some issues tonight, is the fact that the car is going from running uphill to transitioning downhill. So as you're coming off the banking, you're also transitioning to a downhill run. So you're kind of unloading the suspension in a weird way.
Yeah, so going into turn number 3, going uphill, getting on the brakes, the whole car is compressing, putting a ton of weight onto the tires, and really giving the car a ton of grip going into 3. But going into 1, it's almost like sliding down an icy hill in the middle of wintertime. You can push the brakes all the way to the floor, and it just feels like the car doesn't want to slow down, and it's very easy to blow straight through turn number 1.
Hunter Waters trying to get around Jeff Yenish here in the battle for the 9th position. And this race definitely feels like it could be a battle of attrition. And another thing that we've seen a lot in the past, Patrick, is these SRC races will go caution heavy at the front and then a massive green flag run to end it, or vice versa. We're seeing tonight a pile of cautions at the front. We could end up at a point where, okay, we've had 5 or 6 cautions, then we're going to go 110 laps of green flag racing.
Yeah, even with all the cautions we had last week and the handful this week, I think we're still under 20% for the whole season. It might be even lower than that, which is unheard of. I've been in official races where more than 70% of the race was under caution.
Familiar with D-Class, aren't you? Well, C-Class, I guess. D-Class doesn't have
C-Class, yep.
Yes,
yeah, I like driving me some trucks.
C-Class trucks at everywhere is the answer to those races in Spencer.
Pocono, the track famous for no caution or very few cautions, huge strategy races. No, you'd run there in a truck race and you run 37 out of the 40 laps under caution.
Yeah. Well, this is, I think, the longest green flag run we've had of the night. Let's take a look at our most positions gained drivers. Currently, that's going to be AJ Digby up 12, running in the 6th position at UMU Esports, number 14. Kevin Dick up 6, Colton Harvey up 5, Braden Carroll, Richard Smith second, both up 3. Nice recovery for Smith after that penalty. He's gone from 17th up to the 13th position. Biggest loser on the night easily is Andrew Mraz. He is currently 14 positions back and 1 lap behind the leaders. Interesting, though, is we're 20 laps away from stage number 2 coming to a conclusion. We still have 17 of the 18 cars on the lead lap. So if we get a caution flag, that will put all 18 cars with a shot, a theoretical shot at winning this race.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before in the stock cars. We'll see it again. You can run your way up through these fields. If you're a fast car, like Andrew Mraz is, he's a lap down, and he's chugging his way right through all of these guys. So it's not out of the question that you can run from the back and win the race. It's just unlikely, especially if you keep sliding the car like that.
Yeah, taking a look at the lap numbers, he is running 5 lap and 10 lap averages that are more on pace with the race leaders than the cars towards the back of the pack. So the speed is obviously still in that car after the incident. Just one of those deals that you're going to kind of have to push your way forward here and maybe try to make up that lap organically.
Now, I don't think it's out of the question we see another caution. This track is brutal. It's very easy to spin the car around, especially once we get to these guys running on some older tires.
Yeah, everybody, most of the field towards the front is on the tires they started this race on. It'll be 75 laps on these tires as they cross the start-finish line this time.
Only 15 to go to the end of stage 2.
Yeah, 15 to left in stage 2, and they're only about 0.6 of a second off of their best lap times. The first car that's made a stop is Quentin Clark in the 7th position. He is on 31 laps on his.
I'm going to pull up the trends. I'm going to pull the Larry Mack here. Johnny Avila does have a habit of looping it right before the end of stage 2. So we could still get a caution right around lap 90.
You are going to bring that up every single week. I'd love it. We'll give Johnny
I absolutely am. I'll give him a hard time because he gave up a championship to go watch a mediocre soccer game.
Valid point. Pick up the fight here, Joshua Southsea, Troy Haight, Jeff Yenish, and Hunter Waters. Actually, also Braden Carroll in that one as well. AJ Digby trying to keep Andrew Mraz behind him, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Man, Digby may have gotten a piece of the outside wall again. talked about Darlington stripes 1 week ago. How about Wilkesboro stripes this week?
Those are 2 words you never thought you'd ever say.
Yeah. Usually the Wilkesboro stripes were the prison guard they gave the moonshiners back in the 40s.
Which track was it that had the jail in the infield for the drunk fans? Was that Indy? Am I thinking of Indy?
No. Actually, it may have. Was it North Wilkesboro?
It may have
Let
been.
us
There was
know in
one
the
track.
comments
Yeah.
if you know.
You could see they're all just getting right up there against that outside wall. I could have sworn a bunch of them hit it, but those cars still look pretty okay on the right side.
May have been North Wilkesboro.
I can't imagine a NASCAR race where I can't get too drunk.
Actually, the other one that immediately comes to mind is Talladega as well.
No, because Talladega takes pride in the piles of, like, dumpster full of beer cans they get at the end of the race. They take pride in that down there, so it can't be Talladega.
Yeah, I don't remember. One of them definitely had a jail on site. Reminiscent of Veterans Stadium, old Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, had a courtroom for Philadelphia Municipal Judge Seamus McCaffrey in the bowels of the stadium.
Getting an update in the comments. FRS Drake saying Talladega apparently. So maybe it was. I've got to Google this now. It might have been Talladega.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Talladega. And I believe it still has that jail there.
Yeah, I would think so. It is possible to get too rowdy on Talladega Boulevard.
It's not possible to get too rowdy on Talladega Boulevard. It is possible to upset the local police that travels down Talladega Boulevard.
Yes, the county sheriffs down there in Alabama. Here's our answers. We're coming around to put lap number 90 on the board. 1 to go in stage 2. Talladega does have a jail. It's only 2 cells.
God, could you imagine every drunk fan at Talladega piled in the 2 cells?
Yeah, no,
that won't end badly.
It's not for drunks. It's for like actual crime that happens. Green and white.
Well, here's the crime. Johnny Avila wins stage number 2, does not loop it before the stage end, finally getting some stage points.
Well, not just some stage points. He has claimed the maximum here tonight. He's picked up 20. However, Kevin Dick has 18. He finished second in both stages here tonight. Now we're starting to get to the point, though, of looking at about halfway here. Past halfway. I would think these drivers are going to try to stretch this and see if they can't make it a one-stop race.
Yeah, that's the key, though. It's not that Kevin Dick got 18 and Johnny got 20 and it's not a huge deal. It's the fact that he didn't let Kevin Dick get points on him. Perfectly fine to even him out. Johnny Vila has a better average race finish. You just can't give up the points if you want to win the championship.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. If one driver is going to be pulling up lots of stage points, you have to at least be close. Johnny does not have to go out and win every stage all season long, but you can't finish with no stage points either.
Yeah, the biggest thing for Johnny, if he wants to win the second leg of the championship and win the overall full season, is he's got to finish near Kevin Dick. He doesn't have to beat him out for every stage point he can get, but he has to finish near him in each and every stage.
Leaders now working their way through lap traffic here. Richard Smith second has gone a lap down, as has Dean Gagliano and John Moeller. So 4 cars now being scored a lap down, along with Andrew Mraz in the 15th position. This is where now I think we're going to start to see where cautions are going to play a very big role in how this race finishes out. Because if the leaders have to make green flag pit stops onto a very tricky pit lane entrance, they're giving up a lot of time. Some of these drivers that have stopped earlier in the race, Quentin Clark, Jeff Yenish are the first 2 that come to mind. Troy Haight as well. Even Lee Campbell, for that matter. If the caution comes out, they don't have to stop. Whereas, or if the leaders make their pit stop and then the caution flies, you could see a real jumbling of the order, including race leaders being a lap down, when everybody else gets to make a needed second pit stop and do it under caution.
Yeah, oh, we might get the caution right here.
Yeah, Jeff Yenish slow in turns 3 and 4, and he is on the pit lane. Does this force everybody's hand now?
I'm not sure it does, because it looked like he'd been practicing on the modern layout of North Wilkesboro that we don't have yet on iRacing. But there's no concrete road there. He just drove through the grass the whole way through 3 and 4. A little crooked in the box there, but let's see if they do any service on the car.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the car go up on the jacks either. So Jeff Yenish looks like he will be on pit lane possibly for an extended period here. Johnny Avila coming around Lee Campbell to put him a lap down. That means up to now only 11 cars remaining on the lead lap. Going to be about 9 seconds up the road to get to Troy Haight. Almost half a racetrack. Get to Troy Haight in the 11th position. So not likely that Haight will go a lap down, at least early on here. But the other thing, I guess, that would concern me as a race leader is we've seen so many of these cars spin off the number 4. You almost want to try to pass them before you get to 3, or do it after the corner. Just let them go, back off, and just take a little bit of time loss to ensure you're not going to get caught up in somebody's mess.
Yeah, that's a fair strategy, but these guys are spaced out enough where I don't think you're going to get caught up in someone else's mess if something happens.
Oh, big contact with the outside wall for Braden Carroll. Oh my goodness, that car is going to come to a stop, and we are under the caution flag. Take a look, see if we can see what happened here. The fight between Carroll and AJ Digby. Oh, Carroll got a little loose. Wow, that was a huge hit for Digby as well. Looks like a
yeah, you can see
right
the front bumper was just ripped off that car.
Yeah, let's see. Find us the number 14 of AJ Digby here. Oh yeah, that left front is destroyed. That tire is not turning on the number 14 machine. Bodywork flapping around. Yeah, there you got a good look at it. That front tire not turning for A.J. Digby, so he's going to have big-time problems here. Quentin Clark, Troy Haight stay out on the racetrack as all the leaders cycle down pit lane. Johnny Avila first off, 14.7 seconds. Kevin Dick with a good stop, 14.2. He'll be out in second. Tyler Seville, Lee Campbell. Also, Andrew Moore Jr. on pit lane that time. Looks like Troy Haight will come down pit lane this time. But Quentin Clark going to stay out on the racetrack. He has 65 laps on his set of tires. I don't think he can make the end.
He might, because I don't believe Johnny Avila or Kevin Dick have pit yet. And it's lap 110 out of 175, so...
Yeah, we had
if you
so
pit
many
now,
cautions at the beginning, though.
Yeah, but there's only 60-something laps to go now.
Yeah, 65 this time by. That would make it a 120-lap stint. Yeah, actually 130-lap stint, Quentin Clark. And you're going to have to hold off basically everybody else that is on fresh tires. That's going to be tough. Clark elects to take the inside of the front row for the restart. Johnny Avila will be to his outside. Tyler Seville, Kevin Dick on row 2. Andrew Moore Jr., Joshua Salsi, row 3. Row 4, Hunter Waters and Colton Harvey. Row 5, Troy Haight and Lee Campbell. So pace truck is in. It'll be 63 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Great restart for Avila. He airmails it into turn number 1. No, he can take advantage of Quentin Clark's older Goodyear Racing Eagles. That's going to put Avila back up into the top spot. Kevin Dick coming around now on the outside. That inside lane is going to get absolutely freight train behind the 42. Hunter Waters, a big move to the outside. He's up to the 4th. Now 5th position. It's Colton Harvey going to work on Joshua Salsi. Man, big wiggle off the corner, though. Oh, and Harvey goes around. Colton Harvey puts it up into the outside wall.
John Moeller barely misses him. Gets on the binders just in time. Save that race car. John Moeller and Colton Harvey going to be able to continue after that one.
Yeah, that was a little self-spin for Colton Harvey. Now, I believe that's a penalty. An EOL penalty to Colton Harvey, possibly for the self-spin. AJ Digby checking in the comments. If you need a driver analyst, I'm now available. Oh,
That's fantastic.
that's pain, man. You know what? We could bring him up here, though, and have him spill all the Will Worsler racing secrets.
That is a good point. I'm going to need some like tips to be able to beat those guys when I go out there for Watkins Glen.
Yeah, Watkins Glen actually coming up fairly soon. Taking a look at the schedule, that will be, well, soon-ish anyway. July 19th.
I was being a little bit of traitor to the WWR guys. I was hanging out with the Pie Hide guys, and I was like, yeah, so have you guys been working on Watkins Glen yet? And they go, no, why? I'm like, oh, I've done like 400 or 500 laps, and I think I scared him a little bit. Like, there's no way you're practicing for that this early. But I've only booked myself for 3 sim races this year, so y'all better get ready for an average, mediocre 7th place finish at a number 27 car.
Well, I was going to say, you did fantastically well in the Vintage 500 last Saturday night.
We can blame Jose Cuervo for that one. He was a friend of mine.
Yeah, good confirm. That race was an absolute blast. I knocked myself out with about 15 minutes left to go. Burned up 2 of my 3 fast repairs, trying to answer text messages from family and stuff. But my God, that was such a fun race. More special events will be coming soon here as well. We're looking forward to announcing some of those. Drake is checking in saying, had a buddy telling me about the new inside-out rule for restarts in NASCAR. That's an interesting one. It's not an inside-out rule so much as it is the ability to choose which lane you want to start in. At a place like North Wilkesboro, it really makes a big difference.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's something short tracks have been doing for at least 20 years, my entire lifetime. And it really gives the drivers the option to either pick up some positions taking the less preferred line or hold the high line or the preferred line and really get a jump on everyone.
Yeah, the other one I would love to see, especially with the new introductions in there, is the cone rule, which is basically you have to stay above the cone for a full lap. So when you come down and you take the restart, you can't hug the inside lane all the way. You got to keep yourself up towards the outside. Kind of keeps everybody doubled up-ish down the front straightaway coming to the restart. Will Worsler teammates doing battle here. Tyler Seville coming around. Hunter Waters on the outside. As Kevin Dick sets a new fastest lap in the race at an 18.918. 52 laps remaining as they cross the start finish line. Someone say cone? Yes. Cone. Actually, in short track racing, the cone it kind of served a double purpose. They put the cone out on the racetrack and you had to go inside or outside of the cone. NASCAR had to far overcomplicate things. Instead of just a cone with a rope attached to it that you just drive around, they paint boxes and arrows and all sorts of
Fly a drone.
Yes, at Bristol they were flying. They used a drone to mark this area.
Now, Chris, you're from Pennsylvania, and Drake, one of my friends from college, but fortunately never got to visit my college apartment, where my roommate's favorite hobby was every time he would travel home to Pennsylvania, he would take a couple of state flowers home with him. Take some cones from PennDOT, and take them back to Ohio. And our apartment was littered with traffic cones. I mean, you could barely walk throughout the place. There were so many cones. It was like a construction zone.
Yes, the state flower of Pennsylvania is in full bloom right now. Everything is under construction. Now, interesting, under that last caution, Andrew Mraz did not get the lucky dog.
I wonder if he pitted a little bit early.
This is why I like autocross. I see cone, I hit cone.
This is about my experience with autocross. Just, if you don't like the layout they pick, just kind of hit all the cones until the layout you like it for your next run.
AJ Digby is asking if I will be going to any of Ohio's sprint speedways. I will not be. At least
I might have to.
Ohio has all of their Ohio Sprint Speed Week races in Ohio. Pennsylvania Speed Week makes a one-night detour to Hagerstown, Maryland.
Now, what tracks are left in Ohio? There's Sharon Speedway, which I believe is asphalt anyway, and it's named after Sharon, Pennsylvania, but on the Ohio side. Mansfield's closed down.
Actually, hold on. I can give you the Ohio Sprint Speed Week schedule. That is part of the All-Star Tezos All-Star Circuit of Champions. That is, let's see, Attica Raceway Park. That is night one. Then they go to Fremont, Ohio, Wayne County for a couple of nights, off to Sharon Speedway, Atomic, and Eldora.
Oh, is Sharon dirt? I didn't realize Sharon Speedway was dirt.
Sharon is dirt. The Atomic Eldora back-to-back on the 15th and 16th of June. That is chef's kiss. But actually, that is the same week as the USAC Eastern Store out here in Pennsylvania. So I will be doing some non-sprint car spectating, watching the Thunder and Lightning division of the United States Auto Club.
I might have to go to the Sharon Speedway race. Let's see if we can get something going on there. I've got some buddies up in Portage County and Cuyahoga County, so that's close enough to me where I can make that trip work.
So let's we'll go back to keeping our eye on the racetrack here. This is the closest fight for position between Chris Clark and Andrew Moore Jr. Andrew Mraz is scored a lap down. Colton Harvey, though, is in that fight for the 7th, 8th, and 9th position. Drake asking, when is that? That is next week.
Oh, never mind. I will not be able to make that work. But I will be up that direction for July 4th weekend for the Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio.
Oh, there you go. Yes, the 9th to the 17th is Ohio Speed Week. Again, Speed Week that's going to last 8 days. But whatever. I'll take an extra day versus traveling to the wrong state.
Yes, PA Speed Weeks featuring, what, 1 or 2 races in the state of New Jersey? Because that's Pennsylvania.
No, they go to Maryland.
That's better than Jersey.
Let's see. Friday, June 23rd, they go to Williams Grove. June 24th, Lincoln Speedway. June 25th at Baps. June 26th, back to Lincoln. June 27th at Grandview. June 28th, Hagerstown, Maryland. June 30th, Williams Grove. July 1st, Port Royal. July 2nd, Selinsgrove. And July 3rd, back to Port Royal Speedway. It's a lot of sprint car racing, and it is a grind for these guys running Speed Weeks, especially with kind of crisscrossing the state that they have to do. Both north, south, and east to west. Pretty crazy. I love PA Speed Week. I just wish they didn't go to Maryland. We have enough racetracks here that they should hit PA tracks. So we talked about the long green flag run that was quite possibly going to happen here, Bizzle, and well, we're seeing it right now. 36 laps on this green flag stint. Johnny Avila holding a 6/10 of the second lead over Kevin Dick. It's another 1.5 back to Joshua Salsi in the 3rd position. Salsi going to have to deal with Tyler Seville, though, pretty quickly here. Going a car length and a half as they get to turn 3. love that we're talking dirt sprint car racing on these broadcasts, by the way. That is fantastic. Thank you for the comments, everybody. We appreciate it. Something I did not mention yet. I can't believe it's taken me this long to mention this in this broadcast. Any super chats that come in tonight are going to be donated to the charity of John Moeller's choice. So an awareness foundation for myasthenia gravis is affecting his family. Any super chats that come in, we will, unless the numbers are really silly, we will match them and donate them to a charity of John Moeller's choice. Possibly trouble for AJ Digby. Let's take a look. No, this is Digby exiting pit lane. So that's the trouble with North Wilkesboro, though. The pit exit is right into the racing line. So green flag pit stops could become a bit of a mess. Seeing Richard Fletcher also making a stop. Tyler Seville continues to work on the 81 of South. Both of these cars making up a little bit of ground on the raceway. Well, it looked like they were making ground on Johnny Avila, but the gap between Avila and Kevin Dick over the last lap or so, it's fluctuated between high 6/10 to the mid 7/10 of a second. This gap holding right about 1.3 seconds or so. So we are down to 23, 24 laps to go. Looking at the list of drivers, if we get a caution flag, I would imagine you'll see everybody down pit lane to take a final set of Goodyear Racing Eagles. Troy Haight has stopped twice, as has Quentin Clark. Lee Campbell also has stopped twice. So I would imagine those three would stay out on the racetrack. Everybody else likely to come down pit road here with 20 to go, especially knowing you're only going to have 2 or 3 cars that you're likely going to have to pass. I guess the question sort of becomes, Patrick, is there a point where you say, I'm not coming down pit lane?
Yeah, frankly, I don't know if I would come down pit lane now. Joshua Sousey beats up there, but it doesn't look like he's gaining a whole ton of time on the leaders.
No, they're losing ground. Kevin Dick is closing in on Johnny Avila. He's cut the gap down to 0.3 of a second, call it 2.5 car lengths into turn number 1 that time by, with a little bit of lap traffic up ahead as well. I guess if you're Johnny Avila, you're sort of in damned if you do, damned if you don't territory. Because if you come down pit lane, there's no way that Kevin Dick, Andrew Moore, those guys are coming down. If he doesn't come down pit lane under a potential caution, you know Kevin Dick and Andrew Moore are going to come down and take the tires.
Yeah, this is really the danger zone where you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Okay, Paul Tracy. Cody Brooks, midweek racing to pass Wednesday. Let's go. Hey, thanks for joining us, buddy. We appreciate it. Coming up on the 33 of Dean Gagliano. Oh, man, Avila has to really stop on the brakes, get down to the inside. Kevin Dick catches Gagliano in a little bit of a bad spot. That's going to open the gap back up to about a half second here. Richard Smith, the second, way up towards the outside of the racetrack, staying out of the way of the race leaders. For those hundredths of a second, Kevin Dick had clawed back. He's now going to have to go back to fighting for that time over Johnny Avila. and you still have to pass somebody and do it cleanly. That's the other thing. If the bump and run becomes the bump and wreck, you're both going to the back.
Yeah, you got to hit the bump and run absolutely perfect because you can't wreck the driver you're bumping. Because even if you get out okay, the admins of the series are going to give you an EOL for avoidable contact. So you really just have to either set it up right or pass them naturally.
And in this instance, it does put a little bit of gamesmanship in the hands of the car that's the receiver of the bump. Because if you spin out and the caution comes out, you were going to the back anyway. But if as a result of the contact, you can take your championship rival with you to the back of the field, that could be worth it.
I don't think it is because you're still finishing near each other. If you want to get a huge point advantage, you have to send your rival to the back without sending yourself to the back. Otherwise...
Right, no, I'm saying for the leader. So if Kevin Dick lays the bumper to Johnny Avila and Avila loses it, he better hope the caution flag comes out. Because at that point, Avila's going to the back anyway. He needs Kevin Dick to go back there with him.
Otherwise, I get what you're
It's
saying.
a big point swing.
Yeah, if you're Kevin Dick, you have to figure out how to get Johnny to wreck himself. You can't make the contact when he hits the wall, but you can definitely play a little bit of chess, try and get into his head, and just cause him to make a little mistake. He doesn't even have to wreck himself. Just get him to drop back to the 8th or 9th position, and that's 10 points you're picking up on him.
Yeah, Avila entered the night 14 points back. Obviously, it's only the second week of the season, but that's a big gap to have to make up. 14 points back is where Johnny Avila was, tied for the 8th position with Quentin Clark. And Avila really not going to make up all that many here tonight with Kevin Dick running in second. Would be, 1 point for the win, point for leading the most laps, 2 extra bonus points, plus the position. You're only talking making up, 5? Maybe 6 of those 14. But those are the types of things over the course of a season that's where you kind of nickel and dime your way back in. The same way you can nickel and dime your way into a championship through the bonus points, you kind of have to make them up that way too.
Yeah, there's no other way to do it. When you're facing competition this stiff, you have to nickel and dime it. You can't just take big checks out whatever you want. You kind of have to pinch the pennies.
Five-finger salute at the start-finish line. Actually, a four-finger salute this time by for Johnny Avila. Kevin Dick just not making up ground now. In fact, the lead is back to almost a half second. There'll be 2 to go this time by for Johnny Avila. Popsicle sticks at the start-finish line. Flagman waiting to see which it's going to be, a yellow flag or a white flag displayed off of turn number 4. We'll see it this time. White flag goes in the air. 1 to go here for Johnny Avila. Avila's just got to get off of turn number 4 under the checkered flag. Johnny Avila picks up the win here at North Wilkesboro. The Myasthenia Gravis Awareness 175 presented by John Moeller. Kevin Dick with a very strong second place run here tonight. These two were once again the class of the field. They show it here tonight. And now let's, we're going to show the race winner graphic here for Johnny Avila here very quickly, because at the request of John Moeller, he has asked for the entire field to burn it down on the front straightaway. Put on a show for Mom. God, all that smoke is beautiful.
All that smoke kind of reminds me of when I try and look at the street light across the street from my house.
Look out the window. It's a mosh pit of race cars on the front straightaway. That is beautiful. The fact that Kevin Dick is able to do donuts in the middle of that mess is pretty impressive.
Those are almost West Shire burnouts.
Oh, I love it.
God,
Absolutely
underwater's
junk
coming in.
everything. Oh, that's beautiful. Well done, Team Sim Racers Club. Johnny Vila's still got a little bit of Goodyear rubber left on those tires. Oh, well, nope.
Oh, it ran out of motor, though.
As they ran out of motor. Let's take a look at our race results here tonight. Johnny Avila picking up the win over Kevin Dick. Joshua Sousey rounding out your podium. Tyler Seville, Hunter Waters complete the top 5, making 3 Will Worsler racing cars in the top 5. 6 through 10, Troy Haight, Quentin Clark, Andrew Moore Jr., Colton Harvey, and Lee Campbell, finishing as the final car on the lead lap. Andrew Mraz coming home 11th, Richard Smith the second, 12th, Dean Gagliano in the 13th position, 14th to tonight's sponsor John Moeller, and 15th Richard Fletcher. AJ Digby, Braden Carroll, Jeff Yenish, and JD Wardlow round out tonight's 19 car field. You know what? I agree with Drake here. NASCAR do this when? Yes. Wait a minute. Is that Kevin Dick going full Hail Melon around this place?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Hitting
this
the
is
Armco and oh!
Absolutely tore the front end off it. Oh, that was a thing of beauty. These guys do know how to put on a show. We'll get our all of our Victory Lane interviews ready to go here. Let's see. There we go. We got the replays running. Let's bring in our race winner tonight, Mr. Johnny Avila. Man, I'll tell you what, brother, that was a hell of a show you put on. The car looked quick all night. A little bit of caution at the start, but nothing you guys couldn't work your way through, and a nice long green flag run to wrap this up.
Yeah, it was nice that we were able to like settle things out. Everybody calmed down a little bit and get a nice green flag run in it. It was a lot of fun. Kevin Dick definitely kept me on my toes all race long. I can't slack with the defending champ running so well.
Yeah, we talked about that. You're kind of nickel and diming your way back into the points game here after a little bit of a rough start there at Darlington, but entering the night 14 points back, it's almost like you have to be on the offensive this entire 12 weeks because you can't rely on him to make 2 mistakes. That's the big one. When you factor in the drop weeks, he gets 1 mistake. He's not going to make 2.
Yep, that's why today I tried to do everything I could. Last year, I kind of got bit by not getting enough stage points because, you know, I had the habit of spinning out before the stage came out. So I try to make sure to finish the stages this time and get as many points as I could out of this weekend.
Yeah, this was a big one. I mean, it seemed like the pit strategy worked out with the timing of the cautions, so you didn't have to test a really ugly pit entry. Talk us through this place, though, because North Wilkesboro was a challenge, and did the update that iRacing did change how you guys approach this racetrack?
Um, Tyler was saying that the track definitely did change from Monday when they had the practice session. But when I got in it today, car felt pretty good. Sometimes I get a little loose off with the banking change, but for the most part, it was on the tight side. So I just tried to focus on hitting my marks, making sure I don't make any mistakes, and driving hard.
Well, and we'll wrap things up here with a very quick discussion of the post-race festivities. Ordinarily, it's the Will Worsler guys doing the burnouts, but John Moeller asking everybody to burn the house down on the front stretch. That was a hell of a party you guys threw out there.
Yeah, well, I gotta thank him for sponsoring tonight's race, and he wanted a burnout, so I hope we delivered to his expectations, bringing the house down.
Yeah, I would say you guys did that and more. You and Hunter absolutely pile driving cars was awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
It's always a fun at the end of these races.
yeah, that's it, man. Hang out, have some fun, enjoy the show. But before we let you go, make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous here too.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all of my teammates that show up each week in and out. It's great to hang out with these guys and just come together, have fun, enjoy the race together. And I got to thank all the league admins for making sure we all stay in check and still have fun with it, because sometimes things get a little competitive and heated, but we also come together to have fun. And you guys up in the booth allowing us to watch these races back with high quality broadcasts.
Thanks, brother. Well, we appreciate the kind words from you. And as always, man, these things are an absolute pleasure to broadcast. Let's bring in the guy who went, let's see, full Hail Melon on this thing post race and tore the front end all the hell off of that car. Kevin Dick, congratulations on a very nice run here tonight. Talk us through what you saw out the front of that 52.
I saw a lot of Johnny. That's what I saw. Um, yeah, that's pretty much that. I didn't quite have the pace to make a move on him. I thought I could have had a little bit of a run coming on there, but I messed up once off of 4, and I just couldn't get the ground back after that. But he's quick out there.
It seemed like some of the drivers were having a little bit of trouble. I don't know if it was just the transition from the kind of the banking up, kind of cresting the hill down to the front stretch, if it was some of the changes that iRacing made yesterday. But what were your thoughts on the setup? Johnny said a little bit tight. How was the car feeling for you?
Yeah, mid corner it was tight. My biggest thing was just not overdriving it into 3. Every now and then I just, stay in the gas just a touch, a little bit too long than what I should have, and it would just lock the fronts up just a little bit getting into the corner, and then I couldn't hook the bottom like I wanted to. But other than that, like 1 and 2, I felt like you could drive it in harder and really get on the brakes and sort of diamond the corner to get that nice run off.
Well, great run tonight here, Kevin, and it's going to do a lot towards claiming a second season championship as well. Congratulations on the podium, and before we let you go, do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Before we let you go, I want to call shenanigans on that post-race Chastaning and hitting the wall. Have you been modifying spec supplied parts?
Maybe. I mean, it would have been better if I did it first instead of after the burnouts.
It was beautiful. It was absolutely fantastic. But do all the sponsor plugs here before we let you go.
Yeah, give a shout out to the guys at Pie Eyed, me and Andrew. I think we're gonna do great again this season. Give a shout out to Custom Paints and Diecast, Jordan for always painting great cars, Jordan and Sam for running this awesome league, and give a shout out to you guys for putting on a great show.
Well, thank you much, brother. We appreciate the kind words. And one more driver to talk to tonight here, Joshua Sousey. And man, I'll tell you what, it seemed like if you were best in class tonight, if Johnny and Kevin were running away with it. But it was not an easy thing. You were fighting multiple drivers over the course of this race.
Yeah, I started in the hole a little bit. P7, I decided to wait on qualifying, and the track just kept getting hotter and hotter, and that was not a good thing. So just try to take care of the right front and get through the race and hopefully start picking people off or see how it rolled out, and then had my hands full of Tyler at the end of that thing.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of pressure there, but you guys were both on basically hot garbage tires at that point. How did the runs change on the tires over the course of the race? Because we had a lot of short runs at the beginning, and then we got that long stretch towards the end of the race. Did you notice a big change in how the car was behaving?
I don't know if it was a rubber thing or what, but this last run it definitely was a lot tighter, and the right front built up the heat a lot quicker. And I don't know if I necessarily was running it harder being near the front. But that middle run that we had, that was super long, and we had a bunch of cycles on the tires. I don't know. I think I did a better job taking care of it and being a little bit farther back in traffic. I think it was like seventh or eighth or something, and I was able to just take care of it a little bit better and not charge the corners as much. I don't know if that was the difference or just putting all down the extra rubber from the run and that final run. But the end of the race definitely felt like the track, to me, had tightened up quite a bit.
Well, yeah, the final track temperature, the checkered flag, was 129 degrees. That's the hottest I think we've ever seen it. Uh, Obviously made things a handful for you guys, but congratulations on the podium here tonight. And before we let you go, do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, everyone at Nitro Setups, Total Show Motorsports, and all of the league sponsors that we have that help make this thing get going. I want to give a big shout out to everyone that participated on that little front stretch burnout post race in honor of John and what his family is going through. It's always cool to see a community come together like that, support one of their own. So big ups to everyone. I hope his family enjoyed the show. And as always, I want to give you guys a big shout out. You guys do a great job each and every week. So can't wait to go back and watch this one and be thoroughly entertained.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to check in with us here tonight. And man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, just a fantastic show once again out of these guys from the Sim Racers Club Premier Series.
Yeah, that was a fantastic race. I was not expecting to see so many cars running up high, seeing Johnny Vila get the speed off the high line that he could. Really impressive drive out of everyone tonight, and I just want to thank John Moeller for sponsoring the race.
Yeah, this
cool
one was
cause he's got going there.
Yes, this one was a lot of fun. We're looking forward to doing more of these, a ton coming up next week. We're done for this week. It's week 13 on iRacing, so no more no officials this week. We'll be back on Monday night with the Silver Crowns. Tuesday night, we're going to flip a coin here and decide if we're going to do the Sprint Car Series for their, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern Time strength of field race. Let us know in the comments, DM us, whatever. Let us know if you want to see the sprint cars, pavement sprint cars here on the NRN. And then we'll be back next Wednesday with the Sim Racers Club. These guys are heading off to, I already forget where. Let's see. Oh, Charlotte. 200 lap feature at Charlotte Motor Speedway coming up next Wednesday night. That's a long one. That is a full 300 miles for these cars. It's going to be a big one. Thursday night, the U.S. Open Wheel doubleheader is back once again. Looking forward to kicking off 2023 Season 3 for the officials here on iRacing. But with that, we are getting the heck on out of here. Whether you are watching, I forget where NASCAR is this weekend, but 24 Hours of Le Mans this weekend. Enjoy that one. Hopefully you get a chance to watch some of those sports cars and even the NASCAR guys doing the Garage 56 thing. That car sounds fantastic and is lightning quick around Le Mans. Jensen Button, Jimmy Johnson, Mike Rockenfeller are going to put on a show with that one. For that, we're out of here. For Bizzle and everybody else here at NRN that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.